Hey everyone, Keith here again with some more AP Psych exam prep material for you. You might know me by now. If you don't, I've been teaching AP Psychology since 2005 and performing my own original research since 2009. I teach AP Psych, I teach psychology, I teach research and statistics from high school level all the way into PhD level. But this is your EBQ prep for the exam coming up on May 16th. Let's get into it. So we're going to be looking at the EBQs. I'm going to break down each of the sections for you. There are 3 sections, A, B, and C. I'm going to teach you some strategies and some ways that you can attack each one of these sections so you can get each and every one of those points. I'm going to give you some samples, and I'm going to give you some practical advice to help you practice. If you get a choice, and I don't know yet, I have not seen anywhere, but I imagine that the FRQs are going to be delivered to you both at the same time, and you will have an option which one you can start first. I highly recommend you leave this one for second. Because the AAQ should take you a considerably less amount of time to finish. And as soon as you can get that out of the way, please see my other video on how to answer that appropriately. You can get straight to the EBQ and you have all the remaining time left to get this done and get this right, because you really do need to focus on this one. In this one, you'll get 3 abridged peer-reviewed articles for you to look at and for you to read. You have to read them. Read them deeply. Don't just skim them. Take your time and understand what's happening in these articles. You understanding what's happening in these articles is a make or break point for you to be able to score these points that you have an ability to score. 3 parts, 7 points total. I'll tell you how each one of those is scored. There are 3 sections. The first one is generating a defensible claim based off of a prompt that they're going to give you. That prompt is going to be similar in the same sort of vein as the overarching subject that the 3 articles were about that you just read. Part B and C, you're going to provide evidence from the sources that you just read, evidence about why your claim is totally correct and totally amazing. You're going to give proper citation for which article you took your evidence from, and then you're going to support your evidence from something in AP Psychology that you've learned so far. In Part C, you repeat. Your defensible claim is worth a point, so don't sleep on it. You need to make sure that you get each one of these correct. Remember, 7 points in this, 7 points in AAQ, 14 points is 33% of your grade. The FRQ is 33% of your grade. The next 2 sections, B and C, are both worth 3 points each. Do not underexplain your answer. And what I mean by that is, I've seen students, if the claim is create a defensible claim on why saltines are better for a stomach ache than Tums. Whatever, I don't know. And then my students will be like, saltines are better. And they're like, on to section B. No. Your claim needs to be succinct, it needs to be clear, and it needs to be complete. I need you to pretend like the person reading your essay, it will be a human. The person reading your essay does not have access to the prompt. They do not have access to the 3 sources that you have just read. Pretend that, please. I just need that to be in your mind. So all of your sentences need to be so clear they are self-surviving on their own in each section. I'm going to suggest you leave yourself about 45 minutes to answer this. 20 minutes of that should be reading deeply these articles, look them over really, really well, and then 25 minutes of that plan and write. Do not forget to plan. So often, students who are planning out in their head end up writing in a stream of consciousness way, and they forget things. They don't properly cite well. They don't properly explain what the heck they're even talking about. They don't link the AP Psych term to anything really. They just sort of drop the AP Psych term and be like, "Is that enough? I said a term." No, you need to demonstrate that you understand what that term is. You can't just say it and run away. So Part A, your defensible claim. This is not a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a testable prediction. A claim is something strong, it's robust, it's clear, it's supportable. It's something that you are about to provide some hard evidence for to show why what you're saying is 100% true. And it's specific, absolutely specific. Make sure to mention each part of that. Be sure about your claim and answer confidently. A few of my students have been on the wrong side of their claim, and they have started to. So it was like either for or against something, and my students were like for, and they started to answer section B and find their sources, and then they get into section C and they're going to find their evidence back in the source that they remember getting it from, and they were like, wait a second, oh no, this study doesn't show for, it's actually against my argument. All of these are against my argument. And then they have to go back and they have to start over again. What a tremendous waste of the clock. Don't put yourself in that situation. Make sure that you are sure and confident about the claim that you are making based on the sources that there is a right and wrong, based on the sources that you just read. Here are some examples of it. These studies suggest that blah, 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 increases or decreases something due to whatever, right? Based on the prompt that you're going to get. And again, this prompt is based on the overarching subject matter of the three sources that you just read. This one, the second one, this is exactly how I would write it. Based on evidence from the sources provided, strong opening, it is reasonable to conclude that whatever the prompt was about does or does not something, right? Fill in the blank. Psychological science supports the claim that blank influences something through something else. This is confident. These statements here are confident, they are clear, they are concise, they're direct. So B and C, evidence, cite, support. Your first point is going to be, the first point in this section, your first point is from section A, creating your claim, is going to be providing evidence for your claim, reasons why your claim is totally true because you just read it. It's right there. Of course, what I'm saying is right because I just read 3 studies. I just read this one study that tells me that this claim is 100% bulletproof, this holds water. Cite the source that you got it from. Make sure that you appropriately give credit to authors. Luckily, in the EBQ this year, this is just calling it by the source number. So you can either embed it inside of your sentence according to source 1, or you can parenthetically, inside of parentheses, you can cite the source at the end. Source 1, source 2, source 3, wherever you got it from. Support the evidence that you just found with something from AP Psych. Something, right? So you're not supporting your claim with something from AP Psych, and they're very clear about this in the directions and in the rubric. You're supporting the evidence you found with something from AP Psychology, right? So they're trying to see if you can demonstrate how, just like the rest of the test, concept application, how they're trying to see if you can demonstrate using these terms in real world scenarios, like inside of research. This is kind of like writing a research paper a bit. Tie your evidence back to your claim. Tie your support and your evidence back to your claim at the very end of this section. Make sure that when you drop your AP Psych term or concept or theory or whatever it is, don't just drop it and run. Make sure that you prove to the reader that you know what the heck you're talking about. Because if you don't, you're not getting a point. You need to demonstrate that this term belongs here because it is this and it supports my evidence. Here's an example. This is I sort of mocked this off of an EBQ that I've done with my students a bunch of times now, my tutoring students. So this one was people were eating spicy foods and then judging people that were performing different tasks to see if it was going to make them angrier. And the prompt was, provide a defendable claim that whether personality influences people's food preference. I thought it was BS because those 3 sources did not talk about personality. They talked about momentary choices. So I was on the the con, the against argument. Here's an example of my section B. According to source 1, people who consume spicy food are more likely to believe a character in a book's intentions are negative immediately after eating spicy food. However, this was a single task experiment. Studies on popular tests for personality, such as the MMPI, which assesses personality on the Big Five personality traits, show that personality traits are stable and are a characteristic ways, grammatical error, of thinking, acting, and believing. Momentary choices are considered anomalies and not representative of a person's personality. Boom. Right? One more time with a little bit of notation. According to source 1, there's my citation. People who consume spicy food are more likely to believe a character in a book's intentions are negative immediately after eating the spicy food. Direct reference to my evidence. That's where I got it from. However, this was a single task experiment, so I showed limitation of the study, which is supporting my argument. Studies on popular tests for personality, such as the MMPI, Psych term, which assesses personality on the Big Five personality traits, Psych term, show that personality traits are stable and a characteristic way of thinking, acting, and believing. Momentary choices, such as those in this study, are considered anomalies and not representative of a person's personality. Support for the evidence to my claim. Here's another one that I just generated randomly. While source 2 shows a strong link between screen time and anxiety, it's possible that students who are already anxious turn to screens more often. However, the study's longitudinal design suggests that screen use likely preceded the rise in anxiety. Back to whatever the claim was that I had, right? So it's everything. It's everything. All of those things. And you have to make sure, like longitudinal design, boom. There's my AP Psych support for that evidence that I just read. Suggests that screen use is preceded in the rise in anxiety. Okay. How are you going to prepare for the EBQ? Well, number one, you need to be pretty confident about the psych terminology at this point. You have heard me constantly say that this is not a vocab test. Like in the past years, vocabulary could have helped you out a lot. Not the whole test, but a lot. This year, it's not that kind of game. You need to know the vocabulary so well that you're using it in context. You're actually using it when you're asked to use it. So there's that. My suggestion, and I was talking to somebody on Reddit about this, take either a movie series or a book series or a series that you really know well, that you really like the person I was talking to, we were like the Matrix trilogy. So create a claim, give evidence, cite that evidence, and support it with psychology, tie it back to your claim. So I was like, maybe your claim about the Matrix trilogy is that the Matrix is not a trilogy about robots. It's a trilogy about love, the evolution of love, and it's we can see in the Matrix, the first movie, that when Neo and Trinity, blah 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 blah, and then you add something because of oxytocin between the two of them and something, right? So I'm dropping some psychology in there at the same time. Relating things in the real world to things that you've learned in psychology is going to be a great resource for you to try to practice these things. Pick a popular argument clean energy or climate change or I don't know, the saltines things that I was talking about. I have no idea. Try to provide, make a claim, give some evidence, cite that evidence, and then support it with AP Psych. The more you get used to, I believe in your ability to point to the resources that are provided to you. Listen to me. None of this is about you. None of this is about you. This is not about your opinions. These are not about your beliefs. This is asking you, did you understand what you just read? And can you prove to me that this statement is true or false, or supported or not supported? And it's asking you like, show me where in this in these sources that what you say is true. Show me where in these sources that what you say is true. Now, use AP psychology to bolster, put like a second line of defense behind your claim, right? So it's all about the knowledge that's already out there. This is not asking for your interpretation of stuff, right? It's about like, can you pull in support from outside, from people who have already done the heavy work for you? Do you know how to organize it, right? So at no point should you be like, well, personality could be so different because like I live in a neighborhood where people have like all kinds of personalities and no, I don't care. It's a cute story, but show me something in the sources or from AP psychology that's going to prove your claim. That is the whole of this part of the FRQ. Also, obviously, practice tests are your best friend. Okay, so listen, this is cool. This TV thing that I did. This section, it requires a lot out of you. It requires a lot of your attention. It requires a lot of your professional level of speaking and reporting. I believe that you can do this. This is not, it's just technical, right? It's technical heavy. It's not about creative writing. It's just about using the support, standing on the shoulders of giants, which I believe is an Einstein quote. Can you show me from the people who came before you why this statement is or is not supported, right? So try to take your personal self out of it. If this was helpful to you, that's amazing. I'm going to be sending more resources as we get closer to the AP exam. I am hosting an AP Psych exam survival series. If you haven't not gotten that information yet, you should be getting it soon. Either like full replays, or we can do it live, or you can drop in on a class, whatever it is. I got some really amazing resources that I still have to share with you guys before it's too late. Especially you guys out there who are self-studying and you have not had a teacher, or you like sort of picked up the book a little too late in time. I'm here for you. Send me a message, DM, or email me if you guys have any questions. Thank you so much, and I will see you at the next resource I got.